Golden Eagles in return for a little work. See the description box for details and why I took the sponsorship. Hi and welcome to the Digital Digging YouTube channel. In this video we're having a look at the Nakajima Ki-87, a new premium for the Japanese tree, freshly arrived in patch 1.63. The Nakajima Ki-87 was a monoplane, single-seat, high-altitude fighter interceptor designed specifically to engage other high-altitude aircraft, namely the heavy bombers of the US Air Force. The Tachikawa Aircraft Company were also developing aircraft for this role, the Ki-94 and the Ki-94-2, with the Nakajima Company taking up the fallback position should these two aircraft fail to appear. The first of these, the Ki-94-1, was going to be a push-pull twin-boom affair, heavily armed with both 37mm and 30mm cannon, and intended to reach significant altitudes by way of its twin four-bladed props, powered by Mitsubishi HA211 18-cylinder engines. The complexities of such an aircraft sowed the seeds of doubt in the Japanese Army Air Force, and the design was ultimately abandoned. The second Ki-94, the Ki-94-2, took the form of a much more familiar design and indeed along very similar lines to the Ki-87. Again, much thought was given to high-altitude performance, which included a pressurized cockpit and a mixture of 30mm and 20mm cannon needed to knock out large bombers. Two prototypes were constructed, the first of which had the more usual four-bladed prop arrangement and the second of which had a six-bladed prop. Neither of these made it off the ground, however, as the war came to a close and brought a halt to all production. The Ki-87 had a slightly more successful run, however, but only just. Starting a little over halfway through 1943, Nakajima got orders for the construction of three prototypes which were to be completed between late 1944 and early 1945. The insistence by the Imperial Army that the super turbocharger was placed in the rear of the fuselage added more delays and problems to what was already a fairly complex design brief, and further delays were caused by malfunctioning electric undercarriage which had to fold rearward to make room for the ammunition belts in the wings. The first prototype finally became airworthy in April 1945, where it performed 5 test flights, with the pilots electing to keep the landing gear extended at all times. 500 of these aircraft were planned, but never came into production, as within 4 months of its first flight, the Japanese had formally surrendered and the war finally ground to a halt. The Nakajima Ki-87 is a Tier 4 aircraft with a battle rating of 6.0. It's armed with a pair of 20mm HO5 cannon which come with 300 rounds of ammunition and have a reload time of 40 seconds, and a pair of 30mm HO115 cannon also supplied with 300 rounds and a reload time of 60 seconds. It can also carry a single 110-pound or 50-kilo bomb, or a single 550-pound or 250-kilo bomb. It has a turn time of 21.6 seconds and a very healthy maximum speed of 459 miles per hour or 683 kilometers per hour. I'm not much of a realistic player, but my good friend Mike, who occasionally goes boom, was pretty enthusiastic about this aircraft's performance, so I decided to give it a spin and had, for me, a number of pretty decent matches, finding the performance something of a joy and the guns, for a change on Japanese aircraft, more than adequate for the task. I believe he's uploading a gameplay video very soon, so I'll put a note in here when he does, or you can just subscribe to his channel if you haven't already and keep an eye out for it. There'll be a link in the description box below. The Ki-87 is a good-looking aircraft, a little like the P-47's more sophisticated cousin from the city, in whom you can discern a common family resemblance, but is obviously someone with a more protein-rich diet, access to a better tailor, can turn a lot faster in a dogfight, and has superior guns. This is, it must be noted, a premium, and one that comes in at €30 at that. For that you get the Ki-87, obviously, 1,000 Golden Eagles and 7 days premium time. Whether you think this will be worth it or not will be down to a number of factors which can only really be decided by you. Do you have limitless funds? Yes? Good for you, you may as well buy it. Everyone else will have to weigh up the pros and cons for themselves. However, I will add that if you love the Japanese tree and you're looking for a fighter in that all-important 6.0 slot, and you can lay your hands on this without creating financial difficulties for yourself, then you almost certainly won't be disappointed with this purchase. Right, that's it for another video. The first part of the 1.63 video should be up within a day or so. I'm doing an historic bit for each of the nation's vehicles, so taking it one at a time until I've ploughed through the lot, or ships come out, in which case all bets are off, because I'll be jumping into that like a cat in a box. Okay, cheerio chaps, and I hope to see you for the next one. Bye bye.